minutes. And colleagues, I think we can get 1 2.5 minute round in for all parties. So we'll go with Mr. Morris.
Premièrement, merci Jean-Denis, c'est gentil.
First of all, thank you, Jean-Denis, that was very kind.
Back in 2016, the National Energy Board somehow found that this 1,150-kilometer pipeline was in Canada's public interest. Despite a long history, 85 spills leading up to that point, this was appealed 17 times, including by many First Nations. Since then, this government decided to buy the pipeline days after admitting we were in a climate emergency. The project has been referred by many environmental groups as a climate bomb for good reasons. Climate scientists tell us it's now or never if we want to limit warming below 1.5 degrees C. Instead, we just heard this pipeline will send nearly 900,000 barrels of diluted bitumen every day, an additional 84 million tons of carbon pollution every year. Now, a bit of a carbon accounting magic trick. It doesn't show up in our emission profile. It hangs out in other countries. At the same time, major health risks. The Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment tells us that if a tanker carrying 600,000 barrels even spills 2/3, only 0.5% reach shore, 25,000 people would need immediate evacuation, 105,000 if it's ignited. It's a financial disaster. The federal government, we've learned, is doing everything possible to create shell companies to hide how much money we've wasted. But the fact is that we've collectively wasted $34 billion, about $2,000 for every Canadian household across the country.
We haven't collectively wasted that number. The official opposition has always opposed the government spending that money on
colleagues, sorry, Mr. Morris. Colleagues, I would just remind everybody not to use point of orders for your own debate. You can use that during your own time, ask questions, and provide your comments at that point. But Mr. Morris, I'm going to turn the clock back to you.
Thank you, Chair. As I was saying, the federal government bought the pipeline. Every Canadian across the country owns the pipeline. It's about a $2,000 cost to every Canadian household. With all this, turning to the CEO of the Canadian Energy Regulator, would you now say, yes or no, is this project in the public interest?
Thank you for the question. And the determination of the public interest with respect to this project was a determination made by the Governor and Council based on the recommendation of the Commission, and our role is to oversee that project in the context of our mandate.
Thank you, Ms. Sletto. I understand that. That was in 2016. Today, with the information we have now, is your view still that the Trans Mountain Pipeline Expansion Project is in the public interest? Yes or no?
That's not a determination that in my capacity as CEO, it's one appropriate for me to make. That is a decision that was made by the Governor and Council, and certainly not a matter before the Commission right now, nor would it be mine to
Thank you. So as the regulator, you're making clear then that you made the decision in 2016, but it's not your job to reassess that at any point to say, based on new information we've received, money wasted, potential for spills, emissions, the climate crisis, the regulator will never go back and say, was this still a good choice?
So, very quick, please, because time is up.
Our role is to ensure that the pipeline is constructed and operated safely, and that the regulatory requirements are met and applied in the context of that role. We have both that safety and economic regulatory mandate, and specifically that role with respect to tolls and tariffs adjudication is right now a matter before the Commission.
Thank you. We'll now proceed to Mr. Angus for 2.5.